how to design your environment for success. During the energy crisis during the energy crisis and oil embargo of the 1970s, Dutch researchers Dutch researchers began to pay close attention to the country's energy usage. In one suburb, uh, in, in in one suburb near Amsterdam, they are found that some homeowners use 30% less energy than their neighbors, despite the homes being of similar size and getting electricity for the same price. It turned out the houses in the neighborhood were nearly identical except for one feature: the location of the electrical meter. The same had one in the basement. The others had the electrical meter upstairs in the main hallway. As you may guess, the homes with the meter located in the main hallway use less electricity. When the energy use was obvious and easy to track, people changed their behavior. Every habit is initiated by a cue, and we are more likely to notice cues that stand out. Unfortunately, the environments where we live and work often make it easy not to do certain actions because there is no obvious cue to trigger the behavior. It is easy not to practice the guitar it when it's tucked away in the closest. It is easy not to read a book when the bookshelf is in the corner of the guest room. It is easy not to take your vitamins when they are out of sight in the pantry. When the cues that spark a habit are subtle or hidden, they are easy to ignore. By comparison, creating obvious visual cues can draw your attention towards a desired habit. In the early 1990s, the cleaning staff at Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam installed a small tracker that locked like a fly near the center of each urinal. Apparently, when men stepped up to the urinals, they aimed for what they, what they thought was a bug. The sticker improved their aim and significantly reduce spillage around the urinals. Further analysis determined that the stickers cut bathroom bathroom cleaning cost by 8% per year. I have experienced the power of obvious cues in my own life. I used to buy apples from the store, put them in the crisper in the bottom of the refrigerator, and forget all about them. By the time I remember, the apples would have gone bad. I gone bad. I never saw them, so I never ate them. Eventually, I took my own advice and and redesigned my environment. I bought a large display board and placed it in the middle of the kitchen counter. The next time I bought apples, that was where they went, out in the open where I could see them. Almost like magic, I began eating a few apples each day simply because they are obvious rather than out of sight. Here, here are a few ways you can redesign your environment and make the cues for your preferred habits more obvious. If you want to remember to take your medication each night, put your pill bottle directly next to faucet on the bathroom counter. If you want to practice guitar more frequently, place your guitar stand in the middle of the living room. If you want to remember to send more thank you notes, keep a stack of stationery on your desk. If you want to drink more water, fill up a few water bottles each morning and place them in common locations around the house. If you want to make a habit a big part of your life, make the cue a big part of your environment. The most the most the more persistent the more persistent behaviors usually have multiple cues. Consider how many different ways a smoker could be prompted to pull out a cigarette: driving in the car, seeing a friend smoke, feeling stress at work, and so on. The same strategy can be employed for good habits. By sprinkling triggers throughout your surroundings, you increase the odds that you will think about your habit throughout the day. Make sure the best choice is the most obvious one. Making a better decision is easy and natural when the cues for good habits are right in front of you. Environment design is powerful not only because it influences how we engage with the world, but also because we rarely do it. Most people live in a world others have created for them, but you can alter the spaces where you live and work to increase your exposure to positive cues and reduce your exposure to negative cues. Environment design allows you to take back control and become the architect of your life. Be the designer of your world and not merely the consumer of it. The context is the cue. The cues that trigger a habit can start out very specific, but every time your habits become associated not with a single trigger but with the entire context surrounding the behavior. For example, many people drink more in social situations than they would ever drink alone. The trigger is rarely a single cue, but rather the whole situation. Watching your friends order drinks, hearing the music at the bar, seeing the beers on tap. We mentally assign our habits to the locations in which they occur: the home, the office, the gym. Each location develops a connection to certain habits and routines. You establish a particular relationship with the objects on your desk, the item on your kitchen counter, the things in your bedroom. Our behavior is not defined by the objects in the environment but by our relationship to them. It is simply activation ritual. In fact, this is a useful way to think about the influence of the environment on your behavior. Stop thinking about your environment as filled with objects. Start 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 thinking about it as filled with relationships. Think in terms of how you interact with the spaces around you. For one person, her couch is the place where she reads for an hour each night. For someone else, the couch is where he watches television and eats a bowl of ice cream after work. Different people can have different memories and thus different habits associated with the same place. The good news: you can train yourself to link a particular habit with a particular context. In one study, scientists instructed insomnias to get into bed only when they were tired. If they couldn't fall asleep, they were told to sit in a different room until they became sleepy. Over time, subjects began to associate the context of their bed with the action of sleeping, and it became easier to quick fall asleep when they climbed in bed. Their brains learned that sleeping, not browsing on their phones, not watching television, not starting at the clock, was the only action that happened in the room. The power of context also reveals an important strategy. Habits can be easier to change in the new environment. It helps to Escape the subtle triggers and cues that nudge you towards your current habits. Go to a new place, a different coffee shop, a bench in the park, a corner of your room you seldom use, and create a new routine there. Till then, Assalamu alaikum.